Well, I'm here with Clipsee to give a little recap about the session that we just had, session number 15. He let me know, didn't you think I moved kind of quick on that one? You seemed kind of fast, you said. He said he thought I went really quick, and there was so much going on with looking at that Bastian piano book, Gentle Waves, page 14. So I want to just break down what are the big picture concepts that you learned with fundamentals for piano playing in this session. Well, we covered something really interesting in reading music, and that is how it goes. It's like the timeline of music, how it goes from left to right. And I will just show you whatever surface, whatever, if the music's written without any lines, without any of these horizontal staff lines, which we didn't even get into that yet, and that's okay. But just imagine, if I white this out, maybe I can get no lines. No, yeah, it's kind of like pretending there's no lines. See, magic. So we just read, basically, when you see those little dots, wherever they are, when you see separate notes, that will be covered the basics. Thanks, Clipsee, for reminding me that. I just heard that. What we were doing was just looking at the timeline for how music is written. So know that that's what we covered in this session. The timeline, how you read from left to right, and you're basically following a pattern of dots. And as the dots, if they're moving up, the sound is kind of moving up, or as they're moving down, down. It's a downhill sound, like ah. And when the notes are stacked vertically, it would be kind of like if you're reading something and the word the, there was like one above it, there was a the, like that. Or once upon a time. But there's no other word that you read simultaneous with time. But in music, you can play notes simultaneously, which is great. And those are just indicated vertically. Okay, so we covered the timeline. And, we snuck in there, and I snuck in there, the fact that we were learning how the rhythm was organized in groups of 3. Because at the end of the video, remember I said we can count this particular piece, Gentle Waves, as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and on and on. So that's actually a beginning, something that you're learning is called a time signature. But you don't even have to know that it's called a time signature. Just know that you know what it feels like to play a piece of music with 3 beats per measure. Oh, we didn't even talk about any of that stuff. That's okay. You know how to count in 3. You know how to count a piece of music that's in 3. Yeah! Now, you are also learning how to play chords with both hands in that piece. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. There's a lot of real-world applications for being able to play chords with both hands. And often they are played separately with both hands, right? Like the left hand does some chords and the right, and left hand does chords, and then they come together sometimes. So you got a good foundation on chords. And I didn't cover the last topic. So that's why this little supplement is here. Remember I said we were counting in 3s? And you've already learned about 2 basic kinds of notes. Remember we did the note that is just a note head filled in. That just means it's a circle filled in. That's called the head, remember, and a stem. This is the kind of note that lasts for 1 beat or like 1 second. And then we have one that looks just like that, but when it's not filled in, that's a 2-beat kind of note, or like you'd hold it for 2 seconds. Well, in Gentle Waves, if you're looking at that page number, when we put a dot after the 2-beat note, you actually hold the note for 3 beats, which could also be translated into like 3 seconds. You're taking all this in too, huh? Remember, it's review. You hear this all the time. He learns about, he's actually in higher books than book 1, but he's just hanging out. You like these fundamentals too. I love them. So if you want to go deeper, what does this mean in music theory, in notation? The 1 beat note is called a quarter note, quarter. The 2 beat note is called a half note. The 3 beat note is called a dotted half note. So we have quarter, half, and then literally it's called a dotted half. So now you have 3 kinds of notes that sound: quarter note, half note, dotted half. So in that song Gentle Waves, if you noticed, I held down the chords when we played them simultaneous, and we happened to be holding them down for like 3 beats. There were the black dots here, 5, 3, 1, and then 5, 3, 1 simultaneous. That was like for 3 beats, 3 counts. We just held the note. Clipsee, should we review what that sounds like? His yeses and nos sometimes are really similar. You have to really pay close attention to what he's communicating. Okay, but here we go. Let me just let you hear it. When the notes are the black dots, the quarter notes, it's just like 1 second at a time. That's just 1, 3, 5 for the right hand. Those would be like the black dot notes because it's like a 1, 1, 1. But what if we just held down the chord? Remember the 1, 3, and 5? I just kind of bobbed my head. It's like 3 times. Oh, I did that wrong. I want to hold the note, hold the sound while I'm bobbing my head. That's the sound of dotted half note. It's lasting longer. So let's do the chord now with just the short notes, the quarter notes. That means I'm playing all 3, but just for like 1 second, for 1 count, like this. 1. That would be playing a chord as a quarter note for 1 beat. If we played it as a half note, it's just going to be twice as long. You know, just held it for like double the amount of time I held this. This is double the amount of time that. This is triple the amount of time of that. Or it's like we're just adding a little extra. We're adding, it's like the half note, and that little dot in this case stands for add 1 more little beat, which means like hold it for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. So again, this is 1, and this is 1, 2, and this one would be 1, 2, 3. Wow! All that stuff was going on in session number 15, and Clipsee and I are happy to break that down for you a little bit more. Let me see. Oh, you get to see the rest of the studio? Okay. All right, Clipsee, let's sign off, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session, all right? This is Sharon G. Find out more about what I do at SharonGinspires.com. Comment. I'd love to hear how these fundamentals are being received by you. If you would like to recommend them to anyone so they learn with ease, especially, oh, you're playing too. Especially if they don't think they're musical, but they really admire the piano, and maybe they just have some discretionary time, discretionary money, and they just want to invest in doing something fun for themselves that actually is so soul satisfying, and where like you actually can control something in your life. It is a great liberated feeling to be able to do that, especially if you've ever thought that it's impossible and there's nothing musical about me. Look, Kitty, like you're learning, he can be very musical sometimes. So for now, I look forward to seeing you. We still have, oh my gosh, 5 more sessions to go. So stay tuned. I look forward to sharing more of this journey with you, and I'll see you on the next one.